Hi everyone, it's Small World 2. Small World 2 is the expansion or update to Small World, which was one of the pioneers of iPad board gaming. Let's take a look and see what's new in this version that will be coming to iOS and Android. While originally a two-player head-to-head type game, while there was AI available, the game now lets you play with up to 5 players. You also have the 2 expansions that were in the previous game, Curse to Grandames, as well as Be Not Afraid, which is available for purchase. So as you can see, there are the ability to play with up to 5 players. Here I'm playing with 4, with some AI players. As you can see, the board fits nicely. Yes, it's a little bit smaller, and it's not maybe actual size, but it's definitely big enough that you can understand what's going on and what's connected to what. If you're new to Small World, the game is about picking a race and a superpower. These pairs are made up, and you choose one, and then you try to conquer as much land as possible. At the end of each turn, you'll score points by how much land you control, and if you have any other special abilities, those will come into effect as well. Your goal is to earn the most gold over a series of turns, which is determined by the number of players. Here with 4 players, we're going to be playing 9 turns. Another part of the game is that you do not keep this race or army for the whole game. You can put them into decline and then choose a new one. When you choose a new one, you get a new race with a new power, which allows you to conquer again. Now your previous race stays on the board, so you can combine what you've done before with what you're doing now. But be careful, there's not much space on the board, and pretty soon you'll be taken over by other players. There is more rules to the game that we haven't covered everything here, but basically your goal is to continue to conquer and earn as many coins as possible. At the end of the game, the player with the most coins is the winner. If you've played Small World before, this version is very similar. Everything remains the same, the way the game plays, etc. The new changes are there are more players to play with, different AI opponents. You also have the ability to quickly access the rulebook, as you can see here. And there's new buttons and new UI that really make the game more accessible and more of a modern iPad board game. Some of the new features include leaderboards, which show both solo play and online play, as well as your face-to-face against local players. As you can see here, at this time, I just opened the app, was not yet ranked. But as you can see the top players and how they've been doing. If you follow Days of Wonder, you'll know that Small World 2 was made possible through Kickstarter. As you can see here, they've honored their Kickstarter supporters by listing them in the game credits. So you can definitely see the designer as well as those that worked on the game, and then you'll see all of those that were involved as Kickstarter supporters, which there were very, very many of, which is pretty awesome that this great game was able to be made because of these people. Thanks, guys. Small World is pretty straightforward, and the tutorial that's provided will definitely help you play the game. If you are really down into the nitty-gritty, you can read the full rulebook here, which will explain to you the full rules of the game, which can be useful if you have specific questions. You can also access this in-game if you have specific questions as well. Apart from that, there's a store where you can see the other offerings that Days of Wonder has, both on iOS and other platforms. And there is also some basic settings which allow you to control sound and other options in the game. One of the major additions to the game is online play. As you can see, you can play online with friends, and you can choose which expansions you're playing with. You can connect your Game Center friends. I've had trouble doing this. I'm not exactly sure how to make that connection, but I'll definitely be looking into it more. In terms of, you can also invite recent opponents, Days of Wonder friends, and Facebook friends if you have any that are playing the game. You can also play Quick Play online, which allows you to just play with random players. These games allow you to also play asynchronously, though there's a timer on them depending on the way the game was set up. Here you can see I quickly got into a game. Sometimes the wait is longer than this. This was actually pretty fortuitous for the video. So you can see the other player is making their moves. They have an online indicator showing they are in the game. There's also a yellow indicator showing them that they are playing the game, but maybe in a different game. So you can see that they chose their player, the Flying Ratman, which is pretty awesome, and begins to do their conquering. So you can actually see their moves live, or at least they appear live to me, and very fluid, which is very interesting. Online play does feature chat, which is a good feature. I have not yet seen a lot of players use it, but definitely if you're playing with buddies, it's a great way to poke fun while you're playing the game. As you can see, just from this online game, the information design in the game is very well overall improved. The color coding of different areas and things is very useful to see exactly what's being scored and when. Small World is a game that I enjoy on the tabletop, though it doesn't always get a lot of play just because of its fiddliness and it feels a little bit too back and forth. However, with the iPad version, it's something I really enjoyed. The original version was fun to play against the AI or against another player because it's just so quick and makes things a lot easier. With this update, there's a lot that improves. My initial complaints about Small World was it just felt like a 3-year-old app or 2-year-old app because that's what it was. But now it's a modern app with a lot of the modern finishings that we're expecting. In terms of design and UI, it's really well done. There's a lot of improvements that really help the game and make it go a lot quickly and a lot more clearly. The quick access to the rulebook, the fun menu options, the color coding that happens automatically in the game is all very useful and something I really am glad to see added to this great game. There are definitely some online things that could be improved. The Game Center play needs to be clarified about how you add your friends and things like that, as well as the ability to control the turn links. A lot of quick play games have ended on me without me really knowing what was going on, so it's definitely good to understand exactly how much time you have to take your turn in those situations. Otherwise, though, the game is really fantastic. If you haven't picked up Small World yet, this is definitely a good reason to do so. Of course, you're going to be paying a little more now, but it definitely is worth it, and there have been a lot of major improvements to the game.